Hello and welcome to today's LOL Esports Roundup. We're going to cover a bit of news and then recap today's MSI series and preview tomorrow's. So first things first is news. So Invictus Gaming yesterday, didn't they make a move yesterday? Yeah, Gideon was allowed to leave. And I had, made some inferences saying to myself, I wonder if this means they're going away from Dove as well as the coach, because the coach is Korean as well. And the coach, Joker, has been let go. So Dove is still left behind as the only Korean right now on the team. It's a surprise because IG did do marketably. Sorry, my nose is bothering me. Marketably. But they did remarkably a lot better than they did last year, right? YSKM looked very good in top lane until he had his health issue. And IG before that, honestly, were a up-and-coming team and, frankly, still could be. But they have made the decision to allow Joker to leave. He went 7-9 as the coach of IG. He is 48-58 over his career. Claim to fame was the coach of Sandbox last year in summer when they were able to go on a very good run. The assistant is Renzi. Renzi has only been an assistant this past split. According to Leaguepedia. So no head coaching experience whatsoever, but they are the top listed coach of the other one listed on Leaguepedia as being on the staff directly, related to the results. So we'll see what IG does. IG definitely has some question marks that need to be answered. Am I recording? Yes, I am. Recap. 10-2 on the MSI so far, so above 75%. Got this one right. I feel like a lot of people did. I said yesterday it wasn't a matter of picking who to win, but the manner in which they won, which I did get wrong. I thought it would go 5 games. It went 4. Gen G winning 3-1. Pays 24-8-18, 29% of damage at 80 carry. Chovy 13-6-31 was my MVP. Broken Blade 10, 12, 13, 27% of damage for G2 in top lane. He dealt the most damage, which is kind of a telltale sign of where G2 was in this one. Some good takeaways, so we'll go with positives for G2. Laning phase, they actually did pretty well into Pays and Delight. I thought both Draven games, they were able to get advantages in the bot lane, and unfortunately, we're not able to snowball those into wins. But laning-wise, they were okay. I did say the Draven is not strong enough to really make Hansama be better than what he is, in my opinion. And that kind of came to fruition in the team fights where he was picked off multiple times by Peanut and Chovy and Doran and could not really execute when it came down to it. But laning phase, he and Mickey did well. I thought Mickey also played a fabulous Rakan game in Game 3, the one that G2 would win. Part of me did wonder if Gen G did get a little, lackadaisical. Definitely some questionable decision-making that was not there in Game 1 and Game 2. And maybe that had something to do with the fact they were up 2-0 and maybe glorified scrimming, even though, they did do Tristana top lane, which was an interesting decision. But outside of that, I thought Gen G kind of were just cruising. As far as Gen G's wins and why Chovy was MVP, I thought he was very effective in Game 1 despite not getting a ton of kills. Definitely getting a lot of work done, getting ahead in his matchup and making things happen. Game 2, he did that as well, was able to trade for a solo kill onto Caps. He had multiple solo kills onto Caps actually in this series. Caps even got solo killed by Doran at one point. Continuing to, Yike played very well. I thought that in Game 1, he got the better of Peanut, despite losing. I thought, frankly, he was better than Peanut at times in the other games as well, but Peanut was able to execute in team fights on the Vi very effectively in, I believe, Game 2, picking off Hansama at the right time, and Yike was unable to prevent that being on Viego or whichever game that was. So that was a wash. I thought Yike played well. Pays obviously played well. He dealt a lot of damage in team fights. Why he isn't my MVP? Because the laning phase, right? So the tough part about picking MVP was that, honestly, every player of Gen G had some questionable moments. Chovy in the loss was 0-4-1. He was on K'Sante. I hate K'Sante mid. I absolutely hate it. So for him to struggle on that, I'm kind of giving him a pass. He had a quadra on Ari to turn game 2, which was massive as they were retreating from base. I mean, retreating from a siege. His teammates were dying around him, and he and Pays were able to clean up G2, and Chovy had a quadra. So, like, that was a real big moment for Chovy that allowed me to overlook the Kesante. But Pays in multiple games really struggled in laning phase alongside Delight. Doran got solo killed a couple times, once by Broken Blade. I thought BB actually played very well, on the Kennen especially, finding moments to trade when otherwise it was kind of sus if he could or couldn't. I'm sure he did get solo killed by Doran, and I'm not saying he got the better of Doran, but I thought BB played more than solid in this series. The Caps was the real problem. Just not dominant at all, frankly. And the fact of the matter is, we could say, well, Yike's on the carries. Well, Yike was doing his job. So if Caps is a facilitator, he's got to facilitate more in that trade-off, right, of the jungle mid duo. Just really leaving a lot on the table. And some people may say, well, this person inted, this person did this in this team fight. And it's like, yeah, but at 15 minutes, what was the score? In the one game, Genji are up like 7k gold at 12 minutes. It does not matter who did what in team fights in the mid to late game. When you're down 7k gold at 12 minutes, something seriously went wrong in laning phase and needed to be addressed. Whether it was offsetting plays or just simply not getting gapped in lane, right? Not to say Caps was necessarily the reason for that 7k deficit, but I do think that he was the player that didn't show up for G2 today, personally. And that's a surprise because Caps is the best player on the team, probably. I think now you can make a case that Yike or Mickey are better than Caps right now. Yike is playing exceptionally well. I thought his Poppy was solid. And Mickey's Rakan was disgusting in the one game that they won. But Genji get the better because Chovy showed up in team fights. He was effective. The facilitator, 31 assists. Chovy has taken on a new role, and I think that it has made him a better player, frankly, in his role. And well, actually, I guess he didn't make him a better player, made his team better. But Genji win 3-1. This is not a big surprise. Sneak peek, Mad Lions and T1. So tomorrow we have another LEC and LCK matchup. The last time these two teams played was never. Mad Lions have never played T1. Now, I'm sure Niski has played against Faker before. I'm sure that Elyoya may have played against Owner. No, actually, because Mad Lions haven't played T1, so that hasn't happened. Chasey and Zeus probably played against each other in solo queue. So with that in mind, we're going to cite the support matchup, Hilly and Keria. They played against each other last Worlds when Hilly was on Fnatic. In those two games, actually, Fnatic drew a split, if you recall, 1-1. Hilly went 1-6-23 with only 165 DPM. Definitely more facilitator engage champions that he picked versus Keria, who played a Yumi game. He went 4-3-10 for 395 damage, and it also was indicative of, we know that Keria is capable of doing that, right? Picking champions that actually do have damage output in the support role, where Hilly really doesn't have that aspect to his game because Keria is one of very few that can do what he does. So that matchup, honestly, this is way more lopsided than that, in my opinion, despite Mad beating G2. This is a thing. You know, Elyoya, I don't even want to say that. Elyoya could, right? Elyoya could be important in this series, right? But am I going to say he's better than Owner? Probably not. So that's it for the sneak peek tomorrow. 4-4 today, 4 tomorrow. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.